Hello, this is Pastor Marc coming to you with Virus versus Verses. I'd like to read from the Gospel of John, chapter 16, beginning with verse 33. We read, "These things I have spoken to you, so that in me you may have peace. In the world you have tribulation, but take courage, I have overcome the world." These are the words of Jesus to his disciples, and so to all of us who are following him, that there is peace and that it's found in him, that we are able to take courage even in difficult times because he has overcome the world. As we look at this passage, though, we recognize that Jesus talked about in this world we would have tribulation. That's a place of trouble, a place of struggle or affliction, distress, and even in its root word could be translated pressure. When we look at the scripture, we see that there is a place for us of victory and overcoming. John, in his first epistle, speaks about that overcoming and that it's by our faith. It's not our faith alone, but who we put our faith in. In him we have peace. As we take courage, it's because he has overcome the world. I am reminded of the plight of the Hebrew believers in Messiah who were under great persecution and distress, and because of it, many were pulling back from their confidence and their faith and their assembling together. And so we are encouraged in Hebrews chapter 10, verses 23 through verses 25. "Let us hold fast the confession of our hope without wavering, for he who promised is faithful. And let us consider how to stimulate one another to love and good deeds, not forsaking our own assembling together as is the habit of some, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day drawing near." The Hebrews were encouraged to let themselves be in a place of not wavering, that they would hold fast to their confession of hope, because he who promised is faithful. Jesus said that he would never leave us and never forsake us. And so we're never alone, even in the times of our greatest darkness or difficulty. And we see here also that we are to stimulate one another to love and to good deeds, that we're to encourage one another in the day, and even as the day draws near, that we would be assembling together, and that we would recognize that not only we're not alone because the Lord is with us, but the Lord has made a way for us to be able to assemble together, to come together, to pray for one another, to love one another, to see God's hand work in our life and even through our life in this difficult season. The Lord is for us. Who could be against us? And so we want to be not only encouraged, but to have our part in being encouragers. In Psalm 27, we see David in this psalm making a great declaration and showing great confidence in the first verse, saying, "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the defense of my life. Whom shall I dread?" And yet from that place of confidence, he goes on to share about the affliction and the persecution, the pressure that he was under, and in the midst of it, God calling him to a place of seeking him and even to seek his face. And so we find in the end that David was able to give a word of testimony and also a word of exhortation to us who would come after him. We see that he says in verse 13 and verse 14, "I would have despaired unless I had believed that I would see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living." He said, "I would have despaired. I would have given up. I would have let go unless I had believed that I would see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living, that God would answer and that God would work in and through my life still." And then he gives this exhortation, wait for the Lord, hope for the Lord, be strong and let your heart take courage. Yes, wait for the Lord. The good news is that no matter what we may be facing today, we do not have to be without peace. We do not have to be without hope today. We do not need to waver or to let go. Let your heart take courage. Jesus is faithful and he will not fail us. God bless you as you continue to trust in him.